Alright guys, so today we're going to take a look at what we need to do in order to create a Google form to complete our Embedded Assessment 1.1. So first thing we need to do is go ahead and open up a browser. You do not have to have Google Chrome. You may use any web browser really. Google Chrome will obviously have its advantages. So once you are in your browser, you're going to go ahead and navigate to drive.google.com. Okay? Once you go there, it might ask you to sign in. Now, I'm not actually going to sign in because I've been using Google all day, so I'm already logged in. So once you're at your drive after you've signed in, go ahead and click Create and select Form. Now, once you've selected Form, it's going to bring up this window. So what I want you guys to do for this assignment is you're going to title your first and last name and then survey. Okay? Now, you're not actually going to write first and last, you're actually going to write your name. So if I were actually doing the survey, that's what mine would look like. Select a theme. Doesn't matter which one, I'm going to go with this one because it's green and gold. Go ahead and click. Now your first survey is sort of formatted for you already. So I want you to go ahead and click in here and just type out your question. Now the way I chose to approach this is I know that my first question is going to have to be a yes or no question. So I'm going to just write my yes or no question as simply the thesis about which I'm conducting my survey. So I'm going to say, are American teenagers obsessed with money? Straight and to the point. Are they obsessed with money? I'm going to stick with multiple choice. I'm going to say yes or no. Now I don't include maybe here because I really want some definitive data. If I give people maybe, more people were going to take maybe because that requires less thought. So I'm going to give them just yes and no. They have to make that call. Required question. Go ahead and click done. Okay. And you just look over my question really quickly. Add item. I'm pretty happy with that first one. So my next item needs to be a question in which I ask my respondents to give me a numerical response. And I remember that the Springboard book and my task sheet says that a scale would be a good option here. So I'm going to go ahead and use a scale to get some data. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm just going to do 5. Indicate your level of agreement. Now this is about my 5th time around with this video. So normally what I write in here is how much do you agree? And as I thought about that, I thought that it sounded kind of basic. So I changed up my verbiage a little bit to indicate your level of agreement, to have that advanced sort of presentation. Indicate your level of agreement with the above statement. Okay. Now that is going to be my second question. I'm not going to use help text. Question type, I'm going to go ahead and select scale because we are doing a scale. It's already 1 to 5. So down here I need to indicate what those numbers mean. So number 1 will be my low score. I'm going to say not at all. And I'm going to capitalize this in here because I feel like that capital letter just makes it look nice and professional. So 5 in this scale is going to represent absolutely agree. Okay. Now, because I capitalized that first letter, I don't need to capitalize the second letter, right? They're not going to just both be capitalized because we want them to. So, required question, click done. Just take a minute to look it over. Everything looks good. Go ahead and click add item for another one. Now, my next question, I have to ask my respondents to identify with a category. One thing that I identified in my brainstorm for this survey was that I wanted to target respondents based upon age. So I want to set up some age brackets for my respondents to identify themselves with. Now I'm going to use brackets because some people don't like talking about their age. So if I give them an age range, they can pretend that they're on the lower end. So please identify your age bracket. Keep it simple, right? Text. I have a couple options here. I can do multiple choice or I can do choose from a list. I feel like multiple choice is going to be a little bit easier. It's easier for the respondents to see which one they've selected. Sometimes with the choose from a list, If the respondent hits a down arrow or something, it can modify the data. So I'm going to go ahead and click multiple choice because I feel like it's easiest. Now my age brackets, I'm going to go ahead and set them at 13 to 19, 20 to 25, and 26 and up. Okay. Now, reason behind this, 13 to 19-year-olds are obviously the technical teenagers that would be responding. 20 to 25-year-olds, I feel like they have a little bit more knowledge of what it's like to be a teenager because they were one pretty recently. And then 26 and up, I feel like that's when we're getting into quote-unquote legitimate adulthood. At this point, you can rent a car. So I'm going to go ahead and tick required question, click done, take a minute to review my categories. Everything looks pretty good. Go ahead and click add item. Now my next two questions have to be open-ended responses. So I'm going to go ahead and think up an open-ended response. I know that all unit we've been talking about what the American dream is, but we might not necessarily have a concrete definition of that. So I'm going to go ahead and ask my respondents to tell me what they feel the American dream means. What does the term American dream mean to you? Okay. And now I'm actually going to use this help text because this is intended for me to be able to give some instructions to my respondents. So I'm going to go ahead and write in here that I would like them to provide, and I'm going to capitalize because this can be a complete sentence. Please provide 5 sentences or more describing, let's just leave it. Please provide 5 sentences or more. Now I know my next question is going to be very similar to this. So I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to copy it. Okay. That way I don't have to type it out again. So I click on text, I click paragraph text, and required question. I am done. So I'm going to go ahead and add one final item here. Let's say that I'm stuck. I don't really know what else I want to say that's open-ended. Well, it's pretty easy. All I have to do is ask for more clarification. So I'm going to go ahead and say, please explain. I could also use the word elaborate your answer to question 2 on this survey. Okay, now I'm going to ask them to actually give me a little bit more information here. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in my instruction here, select not multiple choice but paragraph text, and make it a required question and hit done. Now I could leave this question down here, but I mean there's really no advantage to leaving it or moving it, but I'm going to go ahead and move it just to show that you can up here so that it comes right after. That way they have a chance to immediately respond. And I just wanted to show you that you can actually reorder your question items. So that's pretty much that. Now I'm going to take a minute, like any writing process should take, and I'm going to look over my survey, make sure that everything is said the way that I want it to be said. Okay, things are looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click up here on View Live Form. That is going to give me the actual survey that I'm going to be sending out to people. You can see that it tells me that all of these questions are required. And so what I would do to get this form out there to people is I would just take this link, go ahead and cut it or copy it or whatever, go over to a new tab, hit up Facebook, and get going. I just simply go down to my feed and paste it in and hit enter, and then my survey's out there for the world to see. So that's going to be a great start for you guys to go ahead and start collecting data. Remember that this assignment is going to be due this Friday, and I'm looking forward to some great things with this assignment.